a lot of people gain weight on high carb, low fat. How long on average do you think that might happen? And what can they do to kind of mitigate that from being really bad? So this is Ryan over at High Carb Regenerator. Today I have Get Fit with Natasha with me today. And on all your social media, before we get started, on all your social media, it's just all Get Fit with Natasha, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So whatever she wants me to share, I'm going to put down in the description section down below. So go check her out, follow, subscribe, whatever it is on each platform. And, welcome to the channel. I really wanted to have somebody on here who's been basically high carb, low fat their entire life. Most of the people I interview, are like me, they lost a lot of weight. But you come at it with a different side of the spectrum, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So what got you started on high carb, low fat? Why did, was it your family members or how did you get started on that?
Yes, it was family influence. I was raised by my grandma from the age of 4, and I did ballet, athletics, tennis, swimming, and basketball. And naturally, she put me on a high carb, low fat diet. That's what she learned from her mother, and that's what she ate growing up for her many years as a ballerina. And it wasn't vegan, but the animal product consumption was fairly minimal. Red meat was only on the menu once or twice a month. And then the rest of the time it was starches, fruits, sugars, fruit juices. I drank a lot of soda, soft drink growing up as well, and high carb, low fat snacks. I still ate fatty foods here and there for sure because I was a kid and I was so active and burning so many calories that I had to eat fat to keep weight on and to keep growing healthily and to support my growth. So that's how it went. And I'm so grateful for that because she just had me on it and I had no issues with food as a child. And being a ballerina myself, there was girls getting into dieting and eating disorder behaviors and body dysmorphia from ages 9 to 11. And literally girls were fainting in rehearsal, fainting in practice. And I'm there with my sugary high carb snacks on the side, and I was going and fueling myself every 30 minutes or whenever I got the chance.
Geez, every 30 minutes? Wow.
Yeah, because it was intense. You're jumping up and down, you're spinning around, you're running like intense dance rehearsal, preparing for a recital, for examination.
Oh, okay. And I'd imagine that's not a standard Australian, even at that time, way of living, right? Or was that more of a standard, Australian thing with the high carb?
What's not standard? The activity or the diet?
No, the high carb, low fat, because in America it kind of was standard back in the 80s, but once we hit the 90s is when you really started seeing a lot of Atkins coming around and, the early stages of keto.
Yeah. Well, I was born in 98, so I didn't see that for myself. Okay. But from what I've been told by my grandma, my auntie, and my dad, that is true as well. So when I was a kid, it was high carb and high fat together.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Now, as far as
there wasn't a low carb craze that I saw at ballet or in school. It wasn't until I graduated in 2015. In 2014 and 2015, that's when I started seeing low carb, keto, and sugar phobia.
Yeah, I think it was here a lot earlier than that, but it wasn't real severe. It was more I think bread was the first one that got attacked. Stay away from bread, because it's got gluten in. I think it started with that, and it kind of just escalated into what it is now.
Yeah, well, when I visit the health food shops from 2012 to 2015, I did see the paleo products and the low carb options, but it's definitely spread out of control now. So much bigger now at an all-time high. Yeah.
It's crazy. And a lot of it doesn't make sense. I don't know if you know what DoorDash is, but it's the delivery stuff.
I do, yeah.
And people will have me buy like 5 gallons of ice cream and like Doritos and donuts. I mean, literally, and then like Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Like how does this make sense to you? I just don't understand it. But in the ballerina world, because I had a lot of dancers and stuff that went to my school when I was coming up, and they were always dieting or just not eating, or they would sit there at the lunch table and not eat and kind of just watch you eat. I assume there was a lot of that going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so body focused, unfortunately. When you're in the recital rooms, in the rehearsal rooms, there's just mirrors everywhere. And you're wearing skin tight leotard and stockings, like you can see everything. So, girls, they got the phones, they got social media, and they're becoming hypercritical of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, when I was growing up, I did wrestling, and a lot of us were, I didn't do it because I was in the heavyweights, but a lot of them would starve themselves the entire week to make weight. So, I saw that too. You see a lot of this. Instead of just eating a normal diet, they had to starve themselves to get to weight to wrestle on the weekend.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to watch.
It is hard to watch. They're just self-sabotaging, doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. It just it's a subject that's just getting so hard to watch, because even in my comment channel, I see people talking about calories in, calories out. They have it so ingrained in them that they try any way, shape, or form to live on calories in, calories out. I mean, what do you tell people about that every day, in and out?
Well, keto makes you psycho. It makes you mad. You cannot accurately determine exactly how many calories you are consuming, absorbing, and burning each day. It's impossible, and you will send yourself mad in the process. Who wants to track every single bite of food that goes into their mouths? And they use what apps do they use? MyFitnessPal. And it says an apple is so-and-so calories, a banana is this, a mango is that. No, it's not. To get the clearest idea, you have to get a Brix meter, read the Brix, the sucrose content per 100 grams, and then weigh the edible flesh itself to get the closest idea of calories in the fruit. And who's going to do that? What a waste of time.
And that's assuming that everything's perfectly ripe too.
Exactly, which it's not. Fruit is picked early. It's sold too green. It's grown without enough sunshine. The soil is depleted of nutrients. It's just, fruit is not fruit, and a calorie is not a calorie. But yeah, keto. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the people locally around me doing keto, they are not in a good position today, and they are not where they want to be. Mm-mm. But their egos didn't want to listen to me.
No, it's weird because they don't want to listen to the skinny people, and they don't want to listen to the people who have lost a ton of weight. They don't want to listen to anybody. No, I've actually, because I know I'm not at ideal weight, but I've lost like 145 pounds or so. And like, I try to tell people that are doing this, the keto, I'm like, look, this is what happened to me, but they think it's just not going to happen because they lost like the first 20 pounds or whatever, but they don't realize that they're poisoning themselves.
Poisoning themselves, and they're just losing water weight and muscle, and they're just slamming their thyroid function and their hormones in the process. So over what period did you lose 145 pounds, did you say?
Yeah, honestly, the first probably 135 came off the first year.
Yeah, wow.
But that was actually raw, but I was eating a ton of food. I was going through like 80 pounds of bananas a week, like 10 pounds of dates a week. I mean, it was a lot of food.
That's an epic weight loss.
It
That's
is.
more than halfway. That's amazing. Well done.
Yeah, but I've been on the roller coaster because as soon as I add fat back in, my body just wants to store fat. My background is weightlifting. So, I weightlifted for 20 some odd years. So my body just wants to hold on to mass. And so,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to get real catabolic. But I'm proof, that once you add the fat back in, you get fat again. I mean,
Sure.
it just happens. I probably got down to 225, 235, and now I'm sitting at 265
Mm-hmm.
from adding the
And
fat back in.
and what are your goals with nutrition and weight loss at the moment? Are your
I don't.
goals, or you just like to lose more weight?
Yeah, I don't really have a set number. Me at about 215, I'm in the single digit fat wise, like fat percentage wise. 215, 225, I don't know, but somewhere in there, I'm in the, like 7% body fat. That's probably about as low as I'd want to get.
I know that sugar lowers cortisol within seconds, and when I'm stressed or anxious, I get some sugar down my gullet and I can think clearly within seconds, more rationally, more level-headed and grounded. Is that
Yeah.
what you mean?
Yeah, because I know Nutrition by Victoria. I know you did an interview with her, and she talks about cortisol all the time. And I feel like mine's too high, and getting it lowered, it just seems like a mission impossible. And I think a lot of people who are my weight go through that. People who are a little more slender might not know the ridiculousness that some of us go through to get the cortisol lowered.
Well, it's true that most of Western society are running high cortisol. They're not eating enough carbs. They have so much responsibility, stress with the mortgage, with the kids, with their partners, with the workplace. So how are you feeling specifically about your cortisol right now? Like, do you test it? What are your numbers?
Yeah, whenever I test it, it's normal, but my brain's always in fight or flight. And I know a lot of people who DM me in the background, and they ask me, how do you ever get it lowered? Because a lot of us live in that. A lot of us who really struggle to lose weight kind of live in that higher cortisol life, even though we might test and it shows low, but the stress is always kind of there mentally. And I think it makes it really hard to actually lose weight.
Well, you have been through a lot the past few years.
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
And are you currently doing unlimited white sugar, or what's your
I know there's been some controversy with the Durian Rider protocol. I mean, this really wasn't about me. I'm asking this in general because I do have a lot of overweight people that come to me because because we kind of have the same situation. But yeah, I'm doing the Durian Rider protocols, but other than exercising, I can't always get myself to exercise. But other than that, yeah, and the weight just doesn't want to budge.
Well, absolutely. Stress management, cortisol management is a huge key to weight loss.
Yeah, until you really can get that under management. I mean, what are your thoughts on the cardio aspect? I know you love cycling, but have you worked with people that don't really do the cardio aspect and still lose weight?
Yeah, for sure. It is, diet is the most important factor when it comes to weight loss, but cardio helps, it's the support for the nutrition. If you're sedentary, not moving at all, then what are you doing? The human body is a machine. It's made to move.
Mm-hmm.
We have to move. So I do recommend people finding a form of movement that they enjoy. I recommend cycling because it's so low impact and it's fun, and you can burn so many calories and lose so much weight without injuring yourself. You can go on an epic ride and then hop on the bike the next day, go out again. But running takes years to build up conditioning. I was a state cross-country runner back in 2015, and I took a long break. And now if I just started doing 2 or 3 running training sessions per week, I'd get injured. So I'd have to start small again and just cap it at 1 run a week with 1 jog per week. So 2 running sessions. But yeah, cardio it's great for weight loss, but nutrition, number 1. But I do not recommend being sedentary because it's not healthy and it's going to slow down your results. If you want to speed up the results, get on the bike, get moving, get your walking shoes on, get hiking up the hills, get puffing, get huffing, get sweating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier to do when it's not a sheet of ice outside like it was yesterday. But yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. All right.
I hear you. And I do, of course it's harder with a sheet of ice outside, but you can do, in cycling, rebounding, skipping, boxing, they're all great indoor cardio activities. But also if it's really holding you back, then I'd consider relocating yourself to a place that's going to support your goals year round, or to a place that's going to support your goals until you get to where you want to be, and then you can move back if you wish.
Yeah. I have been looking into Thailand because I know it's warm most of the year, if not all of the year there.
Oh my God, yeah. Have you been to Thailand?
I have not. No, I have not left the country in years.
It's stinking hot all year. Yeah, but it's an epic place for insane weight loss transformations.
Especially with the fruit.
Especially Chiang Mai running out the doi and getting your fruit smoothies at the top of the hill, and they add sugar.
Yeah.
You tell them to add sugar.
Yeah, they're not scared of sugar there. That must be so nice because everybody's so sugar phobic anymore. It's crazy.
Well, actually now they are, but only because of Western influence. So when I tell them to add sugar, they say to me, oh, no, I don't add sugar. No, there's no added sugar in this. And I say, no, get the sugar. 1, that means sweet. More sugar in. And they're like, oh, okay.
Well, at least they're receptive, yeah.
Oh, they are. They're very innocent people, and they just want to do the right thing that the tourists are asking them. But yeah, unfortunately, the Western influence of sugar phobia, meat and protein and dairy are good, is taking over, and all of the soft drinks there, the sweet drinks, except for Coca-Cola, have been laced with artificial sweeteners, and they've lowered the sugar content drastically. And you can see in the big cities, in the cities with significantly more money, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, the people are getting fatter and fatter.
That's too bad. That's just
compared to the rural areas where they are financially limited and they're just doing rice, fruit, tofu, a bit of veg, soup, maybe an egg a day, a little bit of fish and some fish sauce. They're still rail thin. So yeah, they don't know sugar is bad from the West because they literally have white sugar on all of their dining tables, which they put in their soups to neutralize the spice and to make it sweeter.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense because they like it really spicy over there. Like really spicy.
Oh, yeah, so spicy. If you say in Thailand, less spice, it comes out spicy as fuck. It's so hot, man. I love chili.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went to a Thai restaurant, I was like, I mean, I was sweating for like 3 hours afterwards. I mean, it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
What did I get hit with? Because sometimes the heat doesn't hit you initially either. Like it's like that long lasting, like you don't know it's hitting until you ate the entire thing. It's like, wow.
You're sweating for hours after. I always put it in Google Translate for them. My pet, no chili.
I'm going to get started with the questions from the viewers here because that's probably the meat and potatoes here. Do you have any thoughts on India being the diabetes capital of the world despite having a large vegetarian population?
Is India currently the diabetes capital of the world?
According to this person, that they are now the leading diabetes.
Right. Let me just check that. Diabetes. So, all right, just a quick search here. In 2017, 72.9 million adults. So 72.9 million adults in India living with diabetes in 2017, and the population is about 1.3 billion. Well, they do smash the ghee over there, you know. The areas with the highest diabetes are going to be the areas with more money in the big cities. In the rural areas, they're not, because they can't afford it, you know. In India, having ghee, having chicken, having fried foods and heavy meat consumption, that's status. They want to be seen eating these foods. I actually watched a documentary on obesity in India a couple of months ago, and they go absolutely mad for KFC. The lines are out the door. So, yeah, they are smashing the fat and protein now compared to back in the day, and it's status for them. They want to be seen eating these foods, and they are unaware of what it's doing to their blood sugar and their glucose metabolism, hence type 2 diabetes. So it is caused by a massive increase in dietary fat consumption.
Yeah. I mean, even if they can't afford animals, they use a ton of coconuts are everywhere. Coconut milk is used in everything too.
Yeah. I don't think coconut milk is used in everything, but there is, there's palm oil, and there is ghee, and they do deep fry a lot of the vegetables as well. So yeah, there's just increase in fat consumption.
Yeah, and, all the recipes I always see it's a coconut, the really thick coconut milk. But maybe that's just because I'm always looking for vegan.
And a massive increase in fast food consumption. I was comparing the nutrition panels of McDonald's items in India and Australia, and I kid you not, the Indian items had about 10 to 30 grams more fat per burger and per wrap. Literally, there was so much more fat in every single item. It was all deep fried. That's much more.
That's gross.
Yeah, I know. Every item is so much fattier than the Australian equivalent.
I wonder why. I don't know why. Why are they obsessed with fatty food?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So just because you're vegan or you're plant-based or veggie, that doesn't save you from type 2 diabetes, because you can be a type 2 diabetic vegan, vegetarian, or plant-based, or you can be an insulin-sensitive, minimal animal product consumer. So it's not a vegan or a vegetarian thing at all.
And I guess that answers
I mean, it helps because when you cut out meat, you cut out a lot of fat, but if you're still consuming dairy, then over time, dairy every day, high dairy consumption, you will be insulin resistant and eventually type 2 diabetic.
Yeah, insulin resistance is the worst. Yeah, it's just absolutely the worst. I mean, you're just a fat storing machine at that point.
It's the worst, but it's so easy to bring on and it's so easy to reverse. You can bring it on in a couple of days, reverse it in a couple of days, reverse it in a couple of weeks. So that's what people don't realize. They think they're insulin resistant forever, and that carbs are why they're insulin resistant.
Well, that's the keto world selling that too. What kind of workouts does she do? Does she work out with weights or just cardio? And what does she eat for breakfast? It's a random one.
All right. So head to my Strava, Get Fit with Natasha, and you will see all of my cardio training there. It's mostly cycling with a little walk here and there. And I actually logged 15 kilometers of running last year on Strava. So running is back there. But yeah, all of my cardio is on Strava. I'll just bring up my stats now. This year I have cycled 1,812 kilometers, which is 2 miles, 1,125 miles.
That's really good. What is it?
Which
Mid-March? Do you drive? Or do you just
Yeah,
cycle
it's mid-March. I used to drive when I lived in Sydney, and then when I moved to Adelaide, I let my driver's license expire, and I've never driven a car in Adelaide. We live 4 kilometers from the CBD, 4 kilometers from the hills, and 15 kilometers from the beach. So Adelaide is a perfect commuting city, and we don't have a need for a car. We've got friends with cars and vans, and if we need help transporting something huge, then that will help us out. But
that works, yeah.
Yeah, I don't drive in Adelaide, and my license is currently expired. So yeah, all of my cardio on Strava, check it out. I purchased my first gym membership ever last August. So that was still winter in Australia. And I went for a month, twice a week. And then we went to Asia for 7 weeks. And then I visited my family in Sydney for another 2 weeks. So that was nearly 10 weeks away from the gym. And then it was becoming warm in Adelaide again. So I went to the gym less, and it was about once a week. Yeah. And then from early December to early February, I didn't go to the gym at all. And since then, I've been twice. And at the gym, I like doing weights. Free weights and with the machines. I enjoy it. I enjoy switching up my workouts and just toning and shaping my body. But weights aren't a regular part of my workout routine. I don't necessarily have a routine. I just do what I want and do how I feel. But I prefer the fresh air of cycling and being out and pumping my heart, my lungs, my legs. But, if it's raining, I'll head to the gym. When it's really cold, I'll go to the gym. But I'm not sure if I will renew my membership in August. We'll see, because usually we head to Asia when it gets cold here, which is June. That's the start of winter. But I'd like to stay until that expires just to get the most out of it. And then what do I eat for breakfast? Today for breakfast, I'm having this pineapple crush juice. So it's pineapple juice with crushed pineapple throughout. And then I added 150 grams of white cane sugar to this 2-litre bottle. Let's shake it up. And then I'm just drinking that as we speak. It varies every day, but it is always sweet and juicy, whether it's a banana smoothie, whether it's figs, cherries, peaches, grapes. I've always got frozen bananas in the freezer ready to go, but it's always sweet, juicy, high carb. And it's not low calorie density. I got to get the sugars in for a good day, for a productive day, and to keep my body like this and keep doing as I do.
Well, speaking of calorie density, what do you think of the 50-50 plate? I assume you know what that is with the McDougall.
Yeah, I do. I know. The 50-50 plate won't get you the results you desire. You might in the short term. You will drop weight, and then you'll be hungry. You'll have cravings. You won't be sleeping properly. Your cortisol will rise. Mood issues, eventually hormone issues. Your libido is going to tank. I've got a few clients in my coaching group at the moment that have come from the 50-50 plate, and they are so happy that they found me and ditched the 50-50 plate. 50-50 plate out the door because it wasn't working for them. Yeah, it just makes you too hungry.
Yeah, I tried it for a little while. I was actually recovering from having my ankle surgery, and I figured I'd give it a shot because I wasn't going to be able to walk for like months anyway.
How did you feel?
What's that?
How did you feel?
I hated it. Matter of fact, that's actually why I started this channel. I'm like, this is so stupid. So I started this channel to talk about how ridiculous it is.
I don't know a single person that enjoys the 50-50 plate. And the people that I see doing it on YouTube look fucking, excuse my French, miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. And they all use the same formula. They all somehow magically lost 70 pounds. They all are on coffee. They're all on caffeine.
Oh, the smashing stims.
The
You will
smashing the stems. They all go tanning, so you can't see how bad their skin is. And they got, hundreds of people lining up to be trained by them. And then the people, realize how ridiculous it is, and they move on.
It's not enough calories. You will end up binging on fatty foods and you will gain more weight than you lost. And you'll be hating it.
That's exactly what happened to me. That's literally why I started this channel. I'm like, nah, I got to get the word out there. And even McDougall, the creator of it, says that he wishes he never even wrote the book.
I didn't know he said that.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm glad he said it, because McDougall has some excellent work, which I use as reference, but he does contradict himself.
Yeah.
He contradicts himself. And Duran Ryder, Harley, has written to him privately and said, John, bro, what is this?
Yeah.
And he's like, he literally said, I know, Harley, like, it's just a big shambled mess. I wish I didn't say that. I wish I didn't do that. He's literally written that in email.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you ever get a chance, it's on my channel. Like, I think 4 or 5 videos I've made about it. I mean, him literally saying, I wish I never wrote this, because it's creating like eating disorders. Because people are like now doing like 75-20, and like it's getting out of hand.
Terrible. Out of hand.
All right. Somebody asked if eating 4,000 calories a day is good, is 6,000 better? In other words, should you cram carbs down your throat or only eat till satiated?
No, you shouldn't cram carbs down your throat until you're about to puke or until you're puking. Eat carbs to your satisfaction. You can't say 4,000 is better than 6,000, 6,000 is better than 4,000. It's relative to the individual. So I can't give a certain number of calories.
Yeah. People are so hung up on the calorie thing. I'm like, I don't even count calories. People ask me how many calories I ate. I'm like, I have no idea.
I don't know. People ask me every day. I got no idea. I don't know, because I don't track my calories. And I can understand why they're like that, because they're coming from all of these orthorexic eating disorder coaches and plant-based doctors. But yeah, it's relative to you. You have to get in touch with your hunger cues. Eat to your satisfaction. Just because you see someone upload their what I eat in a day and it's 2,500, 3,000 or 3,500, that doesn't mean you have to eat their exact portions and exactly as much as they have. Maybe you need less. Maybe you need more. Get in touch with your hunger cues. Learn yourself. Get in tune with yourself rather than just what someone else is doing every day.
And I think it matters too what you're doing, because me at 265, I can destroy most 150 pounders on a bike. I'll just go past you like you wouldn't even believe. I mean, I did a bike ride for a charity, and I was going like 35 miles on a bike down a straight. I mean, and they're like, how are you doing this at this size? I said, I had like, I mean, I don't know how much sugar I've had today, and you guys are all over here trying to eat keto. You are
dark. Your muscles are primed for pushing and dropping these mofos.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
Yeah,
obsessed with weight, obsessed with cutting weight. But then in the meantime, they destroy their performance by not eating enough sugar.
Yeah. It's crazy. They were all asking me, I'm like, I'm telling you, like, get a bag of sugar. I mean, sometimes I go through 4 or 5 pounds of sugar a week, and they're like, I couldn't do that. I'm like, okay, well, then I'll just keep passing you, whatever.
Well, yeah. If they're doing keto, they're already insulin resistant and would fail an OGTT, oral glucose tolerance test. So their insulin receptor sites are just plugged and coated with fat. So they aren't going to take the sugar well, only when they cut the fat. can they improve their performance and reverse some resistance?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at some of these rides, you know, have you ever done like charity rides, or have you ever done like supported rides where there's like, you know, like a lunch and stuff like that?
Yes, I actually did one in mid-January for the Tour Down Under. About 400 riders did the exact course that the pros were doing. We just did it in the morning before.
Oh, okay.
And there was people bonking, people sitting on the side of the road, people drifting through the lane. There were ambulances there. Like it was the slowest charity ride and the most dangerous that I've seen, because people were bonking, people were unaware, people were undercarbed, they didn't bring enough sugar.
No, I mean, some of my group, because we had to join, you have to join in a group, and there was about 20, 25 of us or something along those lines. I finished the race and got home, and I was like 30 miles away, got home and ate an entire watermelon before anybody else of mine finished the race.
You smashed it. Well done.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So, but I'm not bragging. It's just like, I'm trying to tell these people, because they're always asking me, like, how are you so much faster? And I'm like, he's sugar.
Yep.
Nobody wants to listen. All right. It's crazy. I mean, I destroyed you, you know, like, not you, but like I've destroyed you people, and you still won't listen to me. But she said, please ask her advice for 50-year-old female, not yet pre-menopause, who works full time and is only moderately active. No need to add sugar. Yeah. Stick to whole food, fruit dominant, looking to lose 50 pounds, no other health. I guess this person's asking if they need to not bother with sugar because they don't do a lot of exercise.
Yeah, you do have to bother with sugar, but you know, I don't know anything about this person. So join my coaching group. Go to doingrider.com, join my coaching group. I'll analyze all of your blood work. We'll go in depth on your situation and your goals, so I can give you the step-by-step plan tailored to you, because I can't give the answer with such little information. So yeah, join my coaching group. Ultimate value, best advice, and we'll get you the results.
She says, another person says, please ask her if she ever coached women in their late 40s. What is old woman climate? I mean, obviously,
I coach women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
This person says, has Natasha ever been overweight? I don't think I want advice from someone that's always been thin.
Why wouldn't you want advice from me, though? I know what works. I'm slim, I'm healthy, I'm fit. Who do you want advice from? No, I haven't been overweight because I've been on a high-carb, low-fat diet for most of my life, and I know what it takes to be slim and maintain it for life. I did a weight gain and weight loss experiment. It took me 6 months to gain the weight by upping my fat, upping my protein, and 3 months to lose the weight by dropping my fat and protein intake and doing my weight loss protocol.
Perfect. Somebody else asked, in an interview with Victoria, she said she eats around, or you eat around 40 grams of fat a day. How come she eats more fat than protocols recommend?
Because the protocols make me too skinny. Personally, I don't really like being 55 kilos at 5'10". At the moment, I'm 60. I prefer having more boobs, more bum, a bit more curve. So I up my fat and protein. At the moment, about, it varies. I'm going to say 20 to 50 grams of fat per day because my weight loss protocols make me too skinny and I don't like being rail thin. I mean, if I do end up rail thin because I am eating max 10 grams fat daily and I'm out on the bike, out in the hills, then so be it. Then I introduce more fat, more protein, and I cut my training back. So that is why I don't do my weight loss protocols most of the time, because they make me too thin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I add cycling in, I do start leaning out like a little too much more than I'd want. I'm not one of these people that wants to be super skinny. Like it's just not my thing.
Oh yeah. And you don't have to be, like, I agree. You don't have to be.
What to do if someone has what to do if someone eats only fat diet and then switches to low fat, high carb? Does the switch have to be gradual or instant?
The switch should be instant, and that is how you will reverse your insulin resistance the fastest. So if you're going from a high fat diet, cut out all the overt fats and go in on the carbs, and that is the quickest way to clear your insulin receptor sites from all of the grease.
I actually have an interesting story on that. So back in the day, I worked at the post office, and I worked at this one post office, and this guy was complaining about how much almond butter cost. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I can make you some because I got a juicer, and I'll just put a blank plate in, and I'll make you some almond butter, and then I charge him for it. And one time during apple season, I'll get like huge bumper crops of apples, and I'll juice them because you can't eat that many. Yeah. And I had some apples, and I had just gotten done making the almond butter, and there was all this fat coated in there. And I don't really like nut butters. I never really have. And I'm like, I'm just going to run this apple through it because I don't feel like cleaning this thing out. And I did. And the first piece of apple that went through there cleaned all of the fat out. I mean, it was like a sponge. Yeah. So that just tells you how quickly, the fruit and stuff like that can clean your body out.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's cool.
It was kind of I didn't have video of it. I almost want to do it again just to have video, but I don't feel like wasting money on almonds because I'm not going to eat it. I mean, who am I going to give it to?
Yeah, I don't like almond butter.
No.
Or peanut butter. I much prefer the PB2 powder. Do you use that ever?
No, honestly, I really just, I just threw out a tub of peanut butter. I like to bake. I like to cook. And I was for Mother's Day last year. My mom likes Reese's Pieces cups. I made an entire pie that was a Reese's Pieces, but it was vegan. And it was it was really good, right? But the peanut butter was in the cupboard still from there because I only needed so much of it. I didn't touch any of it. It just sits there. I'm not a person that's going to sit there and snack on it.
If you're wanting to lose weight, to lose fat, get that nut butter out of your kitchen, out of your house. Give it to someone, donate it, pour it in the garden for the bugs. It is an epic fat gainer.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's like 75% fat or something like that.
It's so stodgy, makes you so sluggish. The insulin resistance is hard with the nut butter.
Yeah. Speaking of that kind of stuff, do you recommend Clif Bars to people? Because that's the one I always toy with.
Yeah, for ultimate weight loss and fastest results, no. I recommend just baking your own no overt fat, very low fat cakes and bars. Make your own. No, I don't recommend the good old Clif Bars for fast weight loss. No.
Because there used to be an apricot one that had like no fat in it, but you can't get
the apricot. Yeah, super sweet. That is Harley's favorite. If you're out on the road and the Clif Bars are all you've got, eat them so you don't get under carbs. Don't go hungry, but choose something else next time or make your own cakes and bars.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Does starch to fruit ratio matter in terms of weight loss, or as long as it's high carb, low fat, it doesn't matter as much?
No, it doesn't matter as long as it's high carb, low fat. I just recommend sweet and juicy in the morning because if you're doing starch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then I can nearly guarantee you're going to be craving sweet at the end of the day because you didn't get enough sucrose calories in. And for me, I don't like starch in the morning. I do that maybe twice a year. And on those 2 times, it's really cold. Not as cold as where you are, but it's chilly.
Yeah.
And I'll have oats with applesauce for breakfast. And then I'll continue on with my day. But yeah, sweet and juicy.
You're the only other person that I've heard that has that combination. I've finally met somebody. Everybody's like, what the hell are you eating? I'm like, it's the best combination. Don't make fun of me.
Oh, oats, applesauce, oat milk, and cinnamon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best combination. I love it.
So yeah, sweet and juicy for breakfast and for lunch in summer. When I have starch for breakfast and lunch, then yeah, at night I'm just like, oh, I could chug 2 liters of juice right now. Just craving sweet. Yeah.
Whole grains. Oh man, I'm so sick of people asking me about these damn whole grains. I keep telling people,
Whole grains.
I'm like, if you don't eat seeds or nuts with the shell on it, why would you eat grains with the shell on it? Like, why would you do that? I don't understand. Do you want to talk about that?
About whole grains.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have this idea that whole grains will make them lose more weight and lose weight faster. No, they won't.
Let me ask the question then, because I get this one and black beans. Everybody wants me to tell them to eat black beans. Yeah. Some of the weirdest questions. All right. So here's another question. I want to hear her thoughts on whole grains.
Whole grains.
Yeah.
I prefer and recommend refined grains. They're easier on digestion. They're more satiating. They're more slimming, and you can get more done on them. They make you more productive. The whole grains can lead to bloating and cravings because you aren't getting enough calories. I actually have a bag of whole grain organic spirals in the cupboard up there. It's been there for a year and a half. It's only half done. I prefer the taste of refined grains, and they are my number one pick.
Okay. So you pick like white rice over potatoes?
Yeah, most of the time, but I love spuds with gravy, and I will boil potatoes or steam them or roast them and chuck some gravy on there.
You make your own?
My own gravy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a really killer recipe in my ebook, but I've got the big 2-kilo Maggi tub of gravy, and that is delicious. So white rice is my go-to starch, and then pasta and potatoes a second and third.
Eating mostly white rice can easily result in consuming a deficit of vitamin C, among other things. How does she account for this in her protocols?
That's why I don't recommend just a white rice diet. You got to eat your fruits, get your vitamin C, get your nutrients. You got to have some raw living foods. I don't recommend just a white rice diet. So that's the answer.
All right. And the most common question here is, what is your average calorie intake per day? But you don't really count them, do you?
I don't know. Because I don't track my calories. I don't count my calories. Honestly, I know they really want a number, Ryan. They really want a number. So it's going to vary drastically depending on my output, where I'm at in my cycle. I'm going to say as a minimum 2,300 to 3,500 a day. It varies.
So that's kind of that's not too bad. It's not like 8,000 or anything like that. I think people think once you say unlimited,
it's not 8,000. Yeah, but unlimited. Unlimited is as much as you can eat, and your appetite and satisfaction cues will determine that. If you can eat 3,000 calories of high carb, low fat foods, then you need those 3,000 calories. If you're about to puke at 2,500, then cap it at that.
I think what happened is Harley, I don't know if you ever saw this video, but years ago, maybe 2014 or something like that, 2013, He made a video about just eat until you puke, and then eat the puke, and then just keep eating.
Oh, yes, I've heard that. Yeah.
So I think that's where some of the issue comes in, because everybody seems to have seen that video.
Yeah, I don't know why he said that, and I disagree with that, and he would disagree with that now. I don't know why he said that. Sounds like he was all excited after an epic bike ride and was just peeing or something, because that's not right.
All right. So somebody else, this is not calories. Somebody else asked on estimate, how much sugar do you use a week?
Right, white cane sugar.
Yeah.
So as a minimum, I have 100 grams per day. So on average, about 150 grams per day. And when I'm more active, about 250. Yeah. So 150 in my general day-to-day life with quite minimal activity. Yeah.
So do you prescribe to the 10 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight?
That is a very general guideline, because some people have absolutely no idea how many carbs that they should eat. So I do prescribe that as a very general guideline for somebody to try for a couple of days, so they can get a feel for whether that is what they need or that is what they don't need. Maybe they need 7 grams per kilo. Maybe they need 12. So try it for a couple of days, count the carbs, not the calories, see how you feel. If you're like, I'm stuffed, I'm going to puke, I'm just, my stomach's sticking out here stuffed with food, then it's too much. Eat less carbs. But if you're lying in bed at night, awake, struggling to sleep, and you're like, oh, thinking about food, then you needed more. So that is the very general guideline for people that have absolutely no idea where to start.
All right. And then I got more questions on here.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple about sleep that I noticed. So if somebody finds themselves kind of tired all the time, do you recommend cutting back exercising and making sure you're not tired anymore before exercising?
Feeling fatigued. Well, there's so many factors at play here. First, I recommend cutting out all stimulants, caffeine, Ritalin, Adderall, cocaine, chocolate. So cut out the stims. Don't cut back the exercise yet. But, why are they feeling tired? So first is stimulants, and then there's, what are they eating? How's their stress? What time are they going to bed? Because it's not so much how many hours of sleep are you getting, it's what time are you actually going to bed. So if you're really fatigued during the day, go to bed at 8:30 p.m. latest. Phone off an hour before bed, wind down, chill out. Carb up, cut the stims, go to bed early. And get your blood work done, join my coaching group, and I'll analyze it.
How much cardio do you advise a day? A couple of people were asking.
Depends on your goals. What are their goals?
Yeah.
Depends. If your goal is fast weight loss, more cardio.
Do you tell people to average a certain amount of watts per kilogram, or do you just go by time? Do you go by effort, or does it vary?
No, because not everyone has power meters or know what power meters are, and they're not into cycling like that. I just say use your body for transport. You want to lose the body fat? Get out of the car, get off the bus, get out of the Uber, get on your bike. Go walking, take the dogs out, take the kids out, use your body,
Yeah.
But as a very minimum, I recommend 20 to 30 minutes per day to avoid being sedentary and on your ass all day. And I'm on my butt a lot of the day. after this interview, I'm going to do a few hours of computer work, and then I'm going to do some washing, just some chores. Yeah, that's it. And then I'll have to go for a walk to the dog park around the block so I don't feel sluggish and so I don't have cabin fever.
Is it starting to get cold over there?
No,
No,
it's not. It's averaging 26 to 30 degrees Celsius
no, that's
every
not
day.
bad.
Yeah. So it won't get cold until May.
Oh, okay. I don't know how it works. I've never lived on that side of the planet.
Cold being still warm for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's the coldest that it gets there?
In Adelaide, in the city, it'll be 5 degrees Celsius in the very, very early morning at about 5 a.m. Yeah. That's the cold.
I mean, that's still pretty cold, actually. That's almost freezing.
It is cold. Yeah, it is cold. And then during the day, in peak winter, so mid-July, then max 9.8 degrees Celsius is what I saw last year.
Yeah, I mean, here in July, it'll probably be about 40, 41.
It depends if the sun's out. If the sun's out and it's 10, 11 degrees and sun's on you, it's nice. But if it's cloudy or you've got the strong southerlies and it's raining, then it's cold. That's when I put the heat on. Yeah.
Wanted to talk about sugar because everybody fears sugar. I mean, it's honestly, there's like 55 questions and about 5 of them, there are about 5 actual questions here.
Yeah, right. I see. So calories and sugar. Well, my top advice is just listen to me and commit. Stop being wishy-washy. 1 week, Natasha and doing Ryan's protocols. The next week, 50-50. The next week, Chef AJ. The next week, juice cleanse. The next week, potato reset. Stop the wishy-washy. You want results? Listen to us and commit.
Perfect.
So, yeah. That's what I've got to say. Do you have any more questions, Ryan? It's a simple life transforming protocol, but people make it complicated and difficult for themselves. Their egos can't handle it. It's so simple. It's just consistency.
I do have one question. I'm sorry to cut you off. What a dick.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
The one question I do have is a lot of people gain weight. I should have asked this like the first question. I'm gonna probably cut this out and actually put it in the beginning. A lot of people gain weight on high carb, low fat. How long on average do you think that might happen, and what can they do to kind of mitigate that from being really bad?
What do you mean gain weight? Like they gain fat, they're gaining water,
I mean, weight is weight. I mean, I don't think anybody's doing a DEXA scan, but like as far as a lot of people, myself included, I know Victoria did. I know actually a lot of people I've interviewed who have lost the weight eventually did initially in the beginning gain weight, whether it's water or fat.
Yeah, so the harder you restrict in the past, the more diets you do, the harder you cut your calories and the more you restrict carbs, then the more you will rebound. So you'll spike your TSH, high TSH, you'll be anabolic, you'll be storing weight, you'll be a fat storer or weight storer. And you have to provide the environment of carb consistency so your body's comfortable, it can restore itself, and then you will start losing weight. So Victoria comes from, a past of anorexia, eating disorders. I think she was even bulimic for years and years and years. Yeah. So she gained weight and now she's lost it all. She's been hella consistent and proved everyone wrong. All of the trolls, all of the haters, Victoria's still fat. She's skinny as.
Yeah.
And she looks fantastic as she is now, or if she has an extra 10, 15, 20 pounds. She's glowy, she's healthy, and she's fit. So, yeah, if you gain weight coming onto the high-carb, low-fat protocol, then you had to gain weight. gaining weight is a sign of health and restoration. You have to trust the process and you have to go with it.
Do you think it screws people up if they add any overt, like, for example, this stuff is my favorite stuff, and Victoria yelled at me for eating it. Oh, damn it. It doesn't show up.
Barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Shit, let me turn this off. All right. This is my favorite barbecue sauce right here. But the last ingredient on here is toasted sesame oil, and it drives me nuts because this stuff is amazing. But do you think something like that would keep somebody from losing weight? I don't know, because the grams on here literally shows up as 0 grams of fat.
Panel?
What's that?
What's the nutrition panel per 100 grams? How much fat is in it?
0. But it still has oil in it.
Per 100 grams. Can you hold that up for me? Show me the label.
I don't know if it'll
Can you pull it back? It's not focused.
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna focus.
Yeah, right. But is that 0 grams per serving or per 100 grams? Because obviously the panels are different in Australia, where you've got per serving and per 100 grams.
Yeah, normally they do. So this is 0 grams of fat per 19 grams, but it doesn't have a point anything. It's 0. It's just 0. So I don't know, per 100.
When you squirt some onto a spoon, can you see any oil bubbles?
No, I didn't even know there was fat in here because there was no oil bubbles in it.
No oil bubbles, then that isn't going to be an issue. No, that's not going to prevent you from losing weight. If you can see the oil bubbles and you put your finger in it and go like that and it's greasy, then I'd pick a different sauce. But that just seems micro minuscule, especially being the very last ingredient.
Yeah, I was surprised. I got some vegetable stock the other day because I like to cook. And I had just mashed some potatoes and I was going to put some vegetable stock in it to make them smoother. And there was no fat listed whatsoever on the label. And there was a ton of fat bubbles in it.
Oily, yeah.
Yeah, but there was no fat listed on the label. So, ever since 2020, they actually kind of made it lenient here where they don't really actually have to list what's in the food.
Yeah, sounds like that's been changed. See, that wouldn't fly here in Australia unless it was a very small scale product being made by a deli or a bakery and someone's made it in their home and has just put ingredients and they didn't put oil. But that would not be allowed at a retail level in Australian supermarkets. Yeah.
So anyway, here you got to watch. It didn't used to be this way until 2020. They changed that for whatever reason.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right. I think that's it. Do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about? What's that?
Any more questions?
I don't think so.
That's all.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions in the comments. Maybe we could do another one if we can line it up.
Sure. Yeah, we can do part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, maybe actually we could do a round table. What's that?
These are great. These are a great format. People love listening. They learn a lot, and they can just play them and do their thing.
All right, so this has been great. Thanks for stopping by. Leave any questions down below. That way we can do a part 2 or part 3 or whatever. A lot of the questions were very similar, so I kind of condensed them. There was about 55 questions that I condensed down to about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there'll be more specific stuff that comes up, and I will definitely link all your stuff down in the description so people can go check you out.
Sure thing.
And anything you wanted to add?
Nope, we will leave it for next time.
Perfect. All right, sounds good.
Gotcha.